Just as there's been the closing ceremony of the G20 at the Bharat Mandapam, a crucial Modi-Macron bilateral that's reported to be shortly from now. Modi's working lunch with the French President, Emmanuel Macron. In fact, this is a lunch meet which is said to be a little longer than a usual bilateral meet that may take place at the Prime Minister's home itself. Lunch meet is more informal and will be slightly longer, and one knows that the kind of relation that Modi and Emmanuel Macron have shared. In fact, India and France have shared so long. In fact, Emmanuel Macron, who is going to be meeting with Prime Minister for a working lunch shortly from now. A big surge in India-France partnership. Modi-Macron's second meeting this year, while India and France begin talks on the second Rafale deal as well. Big strategic boost to Delhi-Paris ties. Follow me for more on that. Follow me, what time is Emmanuel Macron and Prime Minister Modi's lunch meeting? And we believe this is a more casual meeting here where they'll have a little longer time for them to chat and a lot to be discussed, including the recent Rafale deal.
Well, as far as this interaction is concerned, it is being called a working lunch. So over lunch, basically the leaders and of course their support staff, who are part of the delegation, will in fact sit down and work out a few things in terms of their strategic partnership, check on the progress, review the same as well. India and France, of course, have been very close in terms of the relationship that they share, and they've, elevated the level of that relationship. You mentioned the Rafale deal, of course, that is just one of the defense factors that in terms of the defense sector that exists between the two of them in terms of the relationship that they have, and Abhishek will be able to share more on that. But we do know that the Prime Minister was invited as a guest of honor at the Bastille Day function in Paris as well, very recently as well. So clearly there is an elevation in the relationship between the two countries, and that is exactly what the two share, the two heads of state share as well, and that's what is going to be discussed at this working lunch as well, which is the first of the bilaterals that the Prime Minister is going to have. And then there's expected to be a pull aside with the Canadian Prime Minister, and subsequent to that many other bilateral meetings that the Prime Minister has scheduled. So while the G20 summit has concluded, the Prime Minister's work itinerary still is quite packed until this evening.
Absolutely. Multiple bilaterals to be held. To begin with, we believe it's with Emmanuel Macron, the French president. Abhishek, to tell us a little more about the equation that France and India really share. It seems like our equation has really built over the years thanks to Prime Minister Modi and the recent Rafale deal. That's really led to stronger ties and relations between India and France. This bilateral meeting, a working lunch, we believe, between the two will give them a little more time for them to chat on a lot of areas, including the Rafale deal. There's a lot more to come in the Rafale deal. Do take us through the inside story.
Well, Nabila, you're right. When the Rafale deal was clinched and 36 French Rafales manufactured by French major Dassault Aviation were purchased by the Indian Air Force, it was a big deal. A lot was talked about it. There was a political controversy within India, but all that is left behind now. And in fact, on the cards is another deal with Dassault Aviation, this time for the naval version of the Rafale fighter jet, which the Indian Navy is looking for. Still a lot of speculation around it. We keep on hearing that it's a done deal, but no official announcement has been made yet. Not sure if that will come up during the meeting that the two leaders have today. But yes, defense cooperation is certainly one of the most important aspects of Indo-French ties. And over the years, we've seen how this has enhanced, and certainly everybody, at least who follows defense and military, will be hoping and will be expecting some kind of an announcement for the naval version of the Rafale that the Indian Navy is looking for. There were trials done. We've heard that everything has been sorted out, and it's almost certain that the Rafale Marine version has been chosen, but we'll have to wait and watch. But of course, this will be a crucial dialogue. In fact, the two leaders have met quite a few times in the recent past, and this informal lunch meeting will definitely add to the camaraderie between the two leaders and diplomatic relations between the two countries.
Absolutely. Abhishek, do stay with us. It's not just Emmanuel Macron and Prime Minister Modi. It's also another bilateral that has all the eyes on it, particularly that with Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau.